Hey guys, welcome to Real Canadian Condo Disputes, where the condo drama gets real. Condo boards, condo rules, and real owner battles from across Canada. If you live in a condo, or you might one day, you need to hear these stories. Let's jump in.
So, have you ever had a neighbor who just pushes every single limit? Today we're going to break down a real-life condo dispute that went from bad to completely out of control. We're talking chaos, legal battles, and a final bill that is honestly jaw-dropping. Trust me, this is a story every condo owner absolutely needs to hear. Just imagine this for a second. Your neighbor is making life miserable for everyone in the building. When things completely spiral, who's actually on the hook? Well, that is the big question we're exploring today through the cautionary tale of a place we're just going to call Unit X. Okay, so our story kicks off when a condominium corporation realizes it has no choice but to take legal action against the two owners of Unit X. Now, one of the owners actually lived there, and the other one kind of handled the finances. The problem was they were facing this mountain of complaints about non-stop, disruptive behavior coming from their property. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about, a single loud party or a one-time argument. No, the evidence showed a long, documented pattern of nuisance. It started with warnings, but it only got worse over time, creating a massive problem for the entire community. You can actually see here how the condo board really tried to handle this. They didn't just jump straight to lawyers. It started back in February 2022 with a formal written warning. Then, 3 months later, the lawyers had to get involved. 2 months after that, a second, even more serious legal letter was sent. And here's the kicker. Even after the whole legal process officially kicked off, the bad behavior didn't stop. So what was actually going on in Unit X? Well, we're talking about a complete catalog of chaos, pulled from over 30 separate complaints from other residents. This stuff is pretty wild. We've got constant loud music and yelling, smoking, and even urination in the hallways. It gets worse. Flooding, propping open emergency exits, and intoxicated guests trying to get into other people's apartments. It was a really serious situation. At this point, with all the letters and warnings clearly doing nothing, the condominium corporation was out of options. They had to escalate. So they took the whole fight to a formal tribunal, a body that actually has the power to make legally binding decisions.
And that body is called the Condominium Authority Tribunal, or CAT for short. You can think of it as an online court specifically designed to resolve these kinds of condo disputes. And the most important thing to know about the CAT is that its decisions are legally binding. They carry the same weight as a court order.
All right, so here you can see the two sides of the argument laid out. The owners, for their part, presented their case. They mentioned mental health challenges, claimed unauthorized people were causing the issues, and even said other residents were filing false complaints. But the tribunal's findings told a totally different story. They found over 30 credible complaints and, most importantly, they introduced a critical legal concept that every single condo owner needs to know: strict responsibility. And that one concept, strict responsibility, led directly to the tribunal's final verdict. And that verdict, let me tell you, didn't just come with an order to stop the behavior. Oh no, it came with some very serious and very real financial consequences for the owners of Unit X.
The tribunal's entire decision really hinged on this one powerful idea, which they stated just like this: unit owners remain strictly responsible for the behavior of tenants, permitted occupants, and guests. Basically, what happens in your unit is your legal problem, period. It doesn't matter who's actually causing the trouble.
So what was the price tag for ignoring all those warnings? Over $12,000. Yep, that's what the tribunal ordered the owners of Unit X to pay the condo corporation to cover the costs of this whole mess.
So where in the world does a number like that even come from? Well, the vast majority of it, we're talking over $10,000, was just to pay back the condo corporation for the legal fees they had to spend to enforce their own rules. The rest was to compensate for other costs they had even before the case went to the tribunal.
And remember, it wasn't just about the money. The tribunal also issued a very clear, very binding order. The owners had to immediately stop all the nuisance behavior and take every reasonable step to make sure no more violations ever happened again. Full stop.
So, that's the wild story of Unit X. But the reason we're digging into it is because the lessons here, well, they apply to every single person who owns or lives in a condo. This case really sets a powerful precedent for everyone.
So, let's boil this all down to what you really need to know. First, as an owner, you are 100% responsible for your unit and for everyone in it, tenants, family, guests, you name it. Second, saying, "Oh, I didn't know," is not a legal defense. It won't work. Third, ignoring warnings is going to lead to some serious financial pain. And here's the biggest one. To collect those costs, the condo corporation can put a lien on your unit. That means they can legally register that debt against your property, which could stop you from selling or refinancing until it's paid off.
So, how do you avoid this absolute nightmare scenario? It's actually pretty simple. 1. Know the rules of your own building, inside and out. Actually read the documents. 2. Vet anyone you let live in your unit. Properly screen them, whether they're a tenant or just a long-term guest. And 3, and this is crucial, if you get a warning from management, take it seriously and act on it right away.
And all of that brings us to our final thought for today. This case shows what can happen when just one unit goes completely off the rails. So it leaves us with a pretty important question for every condo dweller out there. Are the rules in your community and the way they're enforced actually strong enough to handle a true nightmare neighbor? Something to think about.
Thanks for watching Real Canadian Condo Disputes. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe, and share your own condo experience in the comments.